I always loved haunted house attractions. The thrill of being scared, the adrenaline rush, the laughter afterwards. I thought it was all harmless fun until I visited the one that changed my life forever. It was a cold and rainy night, perfect for some spooky entertainment. I saw an advertisement for a new haunted house attraction in town called the House of Horrors. It claimed to be the scariest and most realistic one ever, with live actors, special effects, and a twisted storyline. I was intrigued and decided to check it out. I arrived at the location, which was an old mansion on the outskirts of the city. It looked creepy enough, with its dark windows, overgrown garden, and rusty gate. I paid the entrance fee and joined a group of other thrill seekers. We were given some rules and warnings, such as not to touch anything, not to stray from the group, and not to scream too loud. We were also told that the attraction would last for an hour, and that we could exit at any time by saying the safe word, mercy. We entered the house, and the door slammed shut behind us. The lights went out, and we were plunged into darkness. We heard a voice over a loudspeaker saying, "Welcome to the House of Horrors, where your worst nightmares come true. There is no escape, only pain and fear. Let the games begin." The voice laughed maniacally, and then we heard a scream. A woman in our group had been grabbed by something from behind. We saw a flash of light and saw her being dragged into a room by a masked figure. The door slammed shut, and we heard more screams and sounds of torture. We tried to open the door, but it was locked. We banged on it and shouted for help, but no one came. We realized that this was not part of the attraction, but a trap. We were in a real house of horrors where we would be killed one by one. We panicked and ran for the exit, but it was locked too. We searched for another way out, but every door and window was sealed. We were trapped like rats in a maze. We heard more screams and saw more flashes of light. We saw our group members being taken away by different masked figures, each with a different weapon and a different method of killing. We saw blood, guts, and body parts everywhere. We smelled death and decay. We felt terror and despair. I was the last one left. I hid in a closet, hoping to survive. I heard footsteps coming closer, and then the voice over the loudspeaker said, "Well done. You made it to the end. But there is one more challenge for you. You have to face me, the master of this house. Come out and meet your fate." I had no choice. I came out of the closet and saw him. He was wearing a black cloak, a top hat, and a mask made of human skin. He had a knife in his hand and a smile on his face. He said, "Hello, my friend. I've been waiting for you. You are the final piece of my masterpiece, the ultimate horror, the climax of my show. Are you ready to die?" I said, "No, please, have mercy. This is not a game, this is murder. You are a monster, a psychopath, a lunatic. Why are you doing this? What do you want from us?" He said, "I want nothing from you except your fear and your pain. I do this for fun, for pleasure, for art. I am not a monster, a psychopath, or a lunatic. I am a genius, a visionary, a master. I create the most realistic and terrifying haunted house attraction ever. I make people experience the true meaning of horror. I make them scream and cry and beg for mercy. And then I kill them and use their bodies as props for my next show. I am the House of Horrors, and you are my final guest." He raised his knife and stabbed me in the chest. I felt a sharp pain, and then nothing. I thought I was dead. But then I heard a click. The lights came on, and I saw him. He was not wearing a mask, but a prosthetic face. He had a camera in his hand and a grin on his face. He said, "Surprise! You're on candid camera. This is all a prank, a joke, a hoax. You are not really hurt. This is just a fake knife and fake blood. You are not really in danger. This is just a hidden camera show. You are not really alone. This is just a team of actors and crew. You are not really in the House of Horrors. This is just a set. You are not really my final guest. This is just the pilot episode. You are the star of my new show, the House of Horrors prank. How do you feel?" I felt a mix of emotions. I felt relief that I was not really dead. I felt anger, that I was tricked and humiliated. I felt confusion, that I did not know what was real and what was not. I felt fear, that I did not know what he would do next. I said, "This is not funny, this is sick. You are a monster, a psychopath, a lunatic. How could you do this to me? How could you do this to anyone? How could you get away with this?" He said, "Don't worry, it's all legal. You signed a waiver when you paid the entrance fee. You agreed to participate in any and all activities at your own risk. You consented to be filmed, recorded, and broadcasted for entertainment purposes. You waived your rights to sue, to complain, or to seek compensation. You gave me permission to do whatever I want to you and to your body. You are mine for the duration of the show. And the show is not over yet." He said, "You see, this is not just a prank. This is also a social experiment. I want to see how you react, how you cope, how you survive. I want to see how far you can go, how much you can take, how much you can endure. I want to see what you are made of, what you are capable of, what you are willing to do. I want to see the real you, the true you, the you that no one else sees. I want to see you in the House of Horrors." He said, "So are you ready for round 2? Are you ready to face more challenges, more dangers, more horrors? Are you ready to see more of me, more of yourself, more of the House of Horrors? Are you ready to continue the show?" I said, "No, please, have mercy. Let me go, let me out, let me live. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be your star. I don't want to be in the House of Horrors. I don't want to be in your show." He said, "Too bad. You have no choice. You are in the House of Horrors, and you are in my show, and the show must go on. The show will go on. The show is going on, right now." He pressed a button, and the door slammed shut. The lights went out, and we were plunged into darkness. We heard a voice over a loudspeaker saying, "Welcome back to the House of Horrors prank, where your worst nightmares come true. There is no escape, only pain and fear. Let the games begin, again." The voice laughed maniacally, and then we heard a scream. It was me. I screamed and cried and begged for mercy, but no one came, no one helped, no one cared. I was in the House of Horrors, and I was in his show, and I was not the only one. There were others like me, others who were tricked and trapped and tortured, others who were pranked and filmed and broadcasted, others who were stars and victims and props, others who were in the House of Horrors and in his show. And we were not the last ones. There would be more like us, more who would come and see and pay, more who would enter and explore and play, more who would sign and agree and wave, more who would scream and cry and beg, more who would be in the House of Horrors and in his show. And he was not the only one. There were others like him, others who watched and laughed and enjoyed, others who created and produced and directed, others who sponsored and funded and profited, others who were behind the House of Horrors and behind his show. And they were not the only ones. There were others like them, others who tuned in and subscribed and liked, others who commented and shared and followed, others who rated and reviewed and recommended, others who were fans of the House of Horrors and fans of his show. And I was not the only one. There were others like me, others who hated and feared and despised, others who suffered and struggled and survived, others who resisted and fought and escaped, others who exposed the House of Horrors and exposed his show. I always loved horror movies and haunted houses. I thought they were thrilling and fun, and nothing could scare me. That's why I agreed to go with my friends to the new haunted house attraction that opened in our town. It was supposed to be the scariest and most realistic one ever, with live actors, special effects, and a twisted storyline. I was curious and excited to see what they had in store for us. We arrived at the attraction around 9 p.m., just before it closed. There was a long line of people waiting to get in, and we had to buy our tickets online. The tickets were expensive, but we didn't mind. We wanted to have the best experience possible. We scanned our tickets at the entrance and received a wristband with a number on it. The wristband was supposed to track our progress and give us feedback on our performance. The attraction was divided into several rooms, each with a different theme and challenge. We had to complete each room in order to move on to the next one. The final room was the exit, where we would receive our score and a souvenir. The first room was a dark and creepy basement filled with cobwebs, rats, and bones. We had to find a key hidden somewhere in the room and use it to unlock the door to the next room. We searched frantically, trying to avoid the jump scares and the loud noises that came from the speakers. We found the key after a few minutes and ran to the door. We scanned our wristbands and heard a voice say, "Well done, you have completed the first room. Proceed to the next one." The second room was a bloody and gruesome kitchen where a butcher was chopping up human bodies. We had to sneak past him and grab a knife from the counter. The knife was the only way to open the door to the next room. We waited for the right moment and dashed to the counter. The butcher saw us and chased us with his cleaver. We managed to get the knife and stab the door. We scanned our wristbands and heard the voice say, "Good job. You have completed the second room. Proceed to the next one." The third room was a haunted and cursed library where books flew off the shelves and ghosts whispered in our ears. We had to find a book with a pentagram on the cover and read a spell from it. The spell was the only way to open the door to the next room. We looked around and found the book on a table. We opened it and read the spell aloud. The door opened and we ran to it. We scanned our wristbands and heard the voice say, "Excellent. You have completed the third room. Proceed to the next one." The fourth room was a dark and twisted maze where we had to find our way out. There were no lights, no signs, and no clues. We had to rely on our instincts and our wristbands. The wristbands would vibrate when we were close to the exit. We wandered around the maze, feeling lost and hopeless. We bumped into walls, dead ends, and traps. We felt the wristbands vibrate occasionally, but we couldn't tell which direction to go. We finally saw a faint light at the end of the maze and ran to it. We scanned our wristbands and heard the voice say, "Amazing. You have completed the fourth room. Proceed to the final room." The final room was a bright and cheerful carnival where we had to play a game of chance. There were 3 doors in front of us, each with a different prize. The prizes were a teddy bear, a candy, and a ticket. We had to choose one door and hope for the best. We decided to go for the ticket, thinking it was the exit. We opened the door and saw a sign that said, "Congratulations, you have won the grand prize. Enjoy your ride." We entered the door and found ourselves in a roller coaster car. We strapped ourselves in and waited for the ride to start. The ride started and we felt a surge of adrenaline. The roller coaster went up and down, left and right, fast and slow. We screamed and laughed, feeling exhilarated and happy. We thought this was the best part of the attraction, and we couldn't wait to get off and tell our friends about it. We looked at our wristbands and saw that they were flashing green. We assumed that meant we had completed the attraction and we were about to exit. We were wrong. The roller coaster suddenly stopped at the highest point of the track. We looked around and saw that we were alone. There was no one else in the car, no one else in the attraction, no one else in the world. We looked down and saw that the track was broken. We looked up and saw that the sky was dark. We looked at our wristbands and saw that they were flashing red. We heard the voice say, "Sorry, you have lost the game. There is no exit. You are trapped here forever." We realized then that this was not a haunted house attraction. This was a real haunted house, and we were the victims.